Yeah, so basically, growing up as youngsters made us who we are today. And I don't think a lot of people understand the struggle. So you get to know a person, and I think how I am back then when I first started managing probably came with that attitude because of what we went through when we were youngsters. We never used to let anybody invade our space or try to own us as such. So I've always treated everybody as equal. So going back to probably like the football scenario, when someone's talking to you because they're in power or they're in a certain position, doesn't allow you to speak to me a certain way. Speak to me as a man,
as a human being,
as a human being, and have that respectful conversation. I know some clubs have ambition and everything else, but let's be realistic. Like we're not professionals here. You're not paying me professional money. You're paying me what you're paying me. Whether it's good or bad or you think, everybody's got a totally different opinion. So if I come back at you, it's not me being arrogant, it's me just being myself, because no one's going to own me. I will just tell you and be honest with you. But don't get me wrong, I will never try and violate you or try and abuse you or be rude to you. I'm just expressing myself. And some people can't manage that as a person, because the first thing, the comment will be, oh, he's arrogant. Typical black guy, attitude.
It's funny that they say typical black guy. I mean, arrogant. I mean, considering we don't really have much to be arrogant about in some ways, I find it very odd that people always cling to that. I think it's, if you've got some kind of self-worth, that with all the current garbage being said about people of colour, I think that in itself is testimony to your strength. And that should be respected.
Yeah.
But when people try to diminish it and say, well, you know what, is arrogant, I'm like, really? I just find that's just like a cheap shot. You know what I mean?
It is, because I always say this, if back in the day I've never been bullied, I used to be the boy that used to look after all those kids that used to be bullied. If someone's going to take a snapshot at me, expect it back. I'm not going to be the sort of person that's going to bow down and think, you're going to have a cheap shot. In life, nothing's cheap or nothing's given to you for free. And you have to earn that respect. So it goes, if one thing my parents used to teach me is that obviously have manners and courtesy and everything else, and always respect your elders. And I still believe in that today, to date. So, people, and I've had it where they will say, Reid is a little bit fiery and he's done some crazy stuff. Yeah, I've done some crazy stuff. I'm not going to lie. But again, that is just my makeup, If we're on the same page, we're on the same pattern, he's not going to have a problem with me. But if you're going to have a cheap shot at me, it's not going to work. And what I'm getting at is that if you're walking down the street and you've got a football in your hand, because we're talking about football, and a boy takes your football and runs off with it, are you going to allow that boy to take your football? No, you're not, are you?
Some people would.
Yeah, some people would.
And that's where society's kind of falling down, because people are letting people take their football away from them.
Yeah, but I didn't. That's mine, as far as I'm concerned. So I'm very protective of my friends, who I'm with, who I work for, and everything else. So I won't let anybody come into my zone and try and think, they can have the upper hand. Have respect. If you come to my home ground, just respect it like I'm coming to your ground. I will respect it as well. And don't think that because you've been in a certain position or you're in a certain place that you think that you're going to have one up against me. It isn't like that. I like respect, and I will give it back to yourself. But if you don't respect, then obviously you'll probably get the same thing from myself.
Well, I can see that you're definitely built for your profession, because you wouldn't, there's no way you can be a manager of a football club unless you have something about you that can deal with that. Because there's a lot that goes into it. Anyone thinks they can just go and deal with 6'2", 4 strong men. They have to look up to you. They've got to respect you. They've got to know that you can play football good enough, and another thing that you can actually, what have you got to show for it? I mean, what have you done that commands that respect? But I just want to say, regarding that conversation about respect now, so in terms of management, I mean, what kind of power does a manager have within a club? Because obviously I'm hearing about coaches and management, and I'm asking this question as somebody who I know about football, but I don't know everything about football.
Yeah, basically you want to get a team together if you're going to be successful, i.e., And it
Are
depends.
you responsible for getting the team together?
I am responsible for getting the team together. Some teams, and again, it depends on clubs as
Do you
well.
bring the team in, or do you bring people in from other clubs? How does it work?
It totally depends. I think when I first started my journey, I fell into it. So I was a player coach, and then the manager left, so I became the manager.
Wow.
So I needed to replace myself, and I think word of mouth, word got out that there was 2 players, and I will name them. One was Louis and one was Lee. Louis was a coach and Lee was a goalkeeping coach, both based over in, I believe it was Sanderstead, I think, somewhere over in Surrey somewhere.
That's a nice
I was
place,
I was based down in Sussex, and which was down Eastbourne town, and they both wanted an opportunity, and I'm all up for giving people an opportunity. So I brought these. I never knew them. I went and met them for an interview. Well, just for a chat, should I say? What an interview! We went for a chat, and they kind of impressed me. And sometimes you can, obviously, tell by the auras and everything if you take into them in the chemistry. You know, if there's no chemistry and you don't take to them, you're not going to take them. But these 2 portrayed themselves quite well. So I thought, I'm going to give you 2 a gamble and give you 2 a chance. And it's a bit like a player essence, isn't it? So I brought them down, and they became my coaches, and they were with me for a good amount of years as well. I'm talking about 5+ years, So when you go to a club, it's building that structure, and it depends on the infrastructure of a club itself and the size of a club, because obviously a lot of people, especially coaches, just want to be covered like their expenses and such and so forth, just to get to a place. They're travelling down from London all the way down to Eastbourne, so we covered that. So I had a goalkeeping coach, and it's essential that you have a goalkeeping coach, because the goalkeepers is one of the parts or the areas of the pitch that I'm not familiarised with, but you do need to train them. They need to work out like all players on it, like all outfield players. A coach is essential because, your ideas as well, you need to bounce them off a coach so he can install the process and the structure of the team, how you, like a blueprint. You have a philosophy in football, and I had a blueprint and a philosophy, and I'll give it to the coach and I'll tell him to expand on that. And his job is to now get the players playing a certain way that I want them to play, and he wants them to manipulate the ball how I want them to manipulate the ball. At the same time, you're coaching them, but you want them to enjoy themselves. Don't take away everything from a player. And when I mean take everything away, a lot of people, when they coach people, they're trying to mould them into this particular player. Don't. You
Sounds like a Ruben Amorim procedure.
Yeah. What you see in a player is now how do you get the best out of that player. Now, one of my things is that we can all play football. We can all run and strike, but everybody has weaknesses as well. And our weaknesses is defending, So because I've been a striker all my life, I had to learn the art of how to defend, because we can all go that way, but how do we come backwards, and defend? So my blueprint was ensuring that we were hard to beat, we was resilient, we were solid, but at the same time, when we do attack, we express ourselves, and that's where you get the best out of the players, showing their talent, as I would say. So when you get a team together, and I think it was just the 3 of us started as a 3-man team, and then the more...
Then you got to start going out and recruiting and things like that.
Yeah.
Do you have how long do you have to recruit players? It's obviously pre-season. How's it?
Depends. Pre-season, you can do it within the season as well. There'll be players that you'll probably like, and you think, ooh, he's caught my eye. That I'd rather look at him, and then what I would do, I will probably go and watch him myself, and then you'll make an approach. So the official approach is, but it happens at every level. Everybody talks to somebody. If you're a player, players will call players because they go, oh yeah, really, I actually know him. Makes it a little bit easier because you're just sounding him out. If he is interested, then the process is that you put a 7-dayer in, and the 7-dayer means that you can't actually speak to the player till the 7th day has actually elapsed. So once his 7 days elapsed, then you can speak to the player, and that gives the opportunity for me to prize him away from the club to myself. the club's job, whoever throws him away, is to keep him. But again, sometimes it boils down to what the manager says, and it's about convincing that player why he's best suited for myself, and not where he currently is, or if there's any other potential other clubs that's, you know, potentially attracted to himself. So
it's interesting. So you're constantly having to try to poach players and things like that. So it's like it's a dog-eat-dog world in football.
Yeah, it is like.
So do managers? So managers, it's almost like they're rigged to not like each other.
Some do, but if you know certain people in the game and everything else, you will have a good relationship with them. And I found that I've always had good relationship with managers, but
so you kind of maybe pass players on to each other.
We pass players on.
Someone that you think suits your system, things like that.
Yeah, and it depends what level you're at, because you can have players that are playing higher, and to bring them down, sometimes it's a cost element, or that player is known of you and he's kind of like your style of football.
So, exactly. I get it. Yeah.
This happens throughout the level. The higher you go up, the more extreme it gets with the price of money and the stats they pull up. So we're not enlightened to those stats, but we have our own stats, because once you're playing against someone, it's the impact that he had against you that attracts you to that player. So what we do, we'll look. Sometimes the chairman will get involved as well, because obviously he's going to have to fund it somewhere. But you know, as long as you're having an open conversation, I'm interested in this player, then you're having a conversation with the chairman, and you're having a conversation with your coaching team, and that's to ensure that that player is fit for yourself, not just for the way you play, but also the change room as well, because you don't want to bring a bad egg into a change room that's run correctly. But sometimes, and I've had conversations where people have said to me, "Oh, you know, he's unmanageable," but I used to be that person that was unmanageable. So those things aren't challenging for me. For me, is knowing how to talk to these individuals and how to get the best out of them. And all you're doing is stripping away the badness from them and making them express themselves and making them good. And I've done that on many occasions. So, you know, when we're talking about a team at a football club, it's not just me that I'm thinking about. I've got to think of the actual whole umbrella itself, starting from the top. You know, you have your chairmen, directors, and again, it depends on the size of the clubs. They will have some marketing actors, they have football directors, they have, then once it comes down to me, then I will have coaches, I'll have a goalkeeping coach, and then underneath that, you'll probably have like the under-23s, the under-18s, youth team, kids team, you know, and what you want to do, you want to streamline everything together so everybody's talking, because a lot of clubs, when they have such different parts like the under-23s or the under-18s, they don't talk to each other. They don't want to bring the youth through. They don't want to streamline it. And I think that's a lot of faults that happens in football clubs, where they don't look at the under-23s or look at the under-18s. They rather go out and go and get a player. But these are the opportunities that you've got to give youngsters as well, you know. Because why have an under-23s and an under-18s if you can't poach anything from them to bring into your first team?
Absolutely. So, you know, basically, it all sounds fascinating, and you've given us a kind of real breakdown on the kind of structures of the football world, which obviously I've really not been aware of. You hear stuff, and I do check out the podcast and whatever, but I don't actually know enough about it. But, you know, where you are in football today, do you see yourself going further? Do you plan to go further? Are you gonna take it beyond? Because what I saw a manager taking the team, doing great stuff out there. What's the next phase for you? Are you going to stay with this club and take it further? Is it about promotion for you?
It's about where we're at the moment. Promotion. Bearing in mind, there's two of us, me and Fraser. We're joint managers. Larkfield, relatively a small club, and I think I've been there and done it. And I think if you spoke to me probably 8 years ago, yes, I was chasing that dream. When I was at Westfield, obviously we had a very exceptional team there. We got promoted from step 5. We was in back-to-back players at step 4. We was going to get promoted to step 3, you know, but we didn't because of COVID.
Step 3. What's step 3? What's that in terms of league?
So basically, you have step 6,
which is what?
Which is like combined counties.
Okay.
Just one below us. Then you have step 5, which we're at the moment, which is combined counties, or the Sceffel Prem, what they call it. Then you have step 4, which is what we call the Ishman, Central, South and East. Then you have the Prem, which is the Ishman Prem. And then you have Conference, North and South. Then you have Conference. And then you go to League 2 football.
What's League 2?
That's pro football.
Okay.
Then it's the Championship. Then it's Division 1, Championship and the Premier League.
And can you jump up? Can you jump up from those leagues considerably? Can you jump from one league up to the player? Can a player go boom? Can you get coached or poached from your league up to
Of course you can.
step 2, whatever?
Of course you
Step
can.
2 or step? Yeah.
Look at Jamie Vardy. He was playing for a non-league team. Went from there to Leicester. You know, Ian Wright.
What about Semenyo? Has he had any similar track record?
I haven't looked at his record, but you do hear.
I know we got turned down by several.
You do hear a lot of fairy tales. There was a young kid, Ishmael, playing for Tooting and Mitcham, went to Middlesbrough. A lot of kids. I had within my team a couple of kids that should have gone pro, that just missed out on it. Striker Max, he went to. He was with me at Westfield. Got my trial at Newcastle when Craig Edwards was there. But Craig Edwards got sacked that season, and obviously
so many stories like this.
Yeah, that broke down. I had a young kid, Aaron Watson, who I still speak today. Well, I speak to all of them anyway. And this is one boy that should have definitely gone pro. I remember back in the day when we were playing together, Crystal Palace were watching him, Portsmouth were watching him, and then we played a county cup game, and someone lifted him up in the air, done his ankle, I think, or his knee. Yeah, he missed out the opportunity. But the scope is
like it
there.
wasn't meant to be, right?
Yeah, the scope is there. You do hear a lot of fairy tale stories of people jumping from here to there. It does happen. And for me, it's just about being in the right place at the right time.
And obviously, as a manager, would you kind of recommend people that you thought, you know what, this is somebody that definitely needs an opportunity, and you would take them off to a trial somewhere? Rather than have them in your team, go, look, mate, you should be.
Yeah,
you should be out there.
My cousin, he's a football coach, he's a football agent, an established runner.
Brilliant.
And I do know other football agents. And if I feel that the boy is good enough, I do have a little whisperer in my cousins, and I go, just send some scouts down to watch. But sometimes the player can generate that himself, especially goal scorers. Non-league, they have something like that. They have team of the week, top goal scorers. And if someone is scoring relentlessly, they do make a name for themselves. And then what it does, word becomes known in the leagues. And then what people are saying, you know what, you need to go and have a look at this kid down at such and such. So for me, back to your question, do I want to go higher? At the moment, I'm thoroughly enjoying it because I had 2 years away from football where I wasn't enjoying it. I just lost the love of the game. Most probably I made some bad decisions.
And I don't have the bad decisions, but why did you not love it anymore?
I think probably after COVID, where I had such a good team, I was trying to replicate that team at the other clubs I went to kind of thing. But the expectations or the clubs that I went to, I made wrong choices, I made wrong decisions. That's on me. I can't put it onto the club. Club is sometimes results driven as well. But if the clubs I went to has a factor of, i.e. no money or no ambitions themselves, or they think they've got ambitions but they tell you a web of lies as well, then it doesn't bode well. And I think my last few decisions wasn't the right one. I may have made some mistakes. I'm not just going to put it on a club.
It sounds like Man United when we're planning to get Balaba. The money's there, but we can't get Balaba.
Yeah, so for me,
so it might not even be there. We don't know what's going on.
So for me, it was a case of I didn't watch football for 2 years. I didn't even. Everybody knows me knows that I used to go and watch football. I used to go and watch grassroots footballs. I used to go and scout other teams. Just have a watch. Just familiarise myself with the league, because back then when I was at Westfield, I wanted to go conference. I wanted to go pro. I wanted to get as high as I could because my stock was good and I believed in myself. But it is about that opportunity as well. Sometimes I didn't get that opportunity, even though I was rubbing shoulders with some good managers.
They didn't take you as their back staff.
Sorry?
They didn't take you in as their back staff.
No,
you need that because you kind of got to go in as one of their coaches or something.
You do, but when I said other managers, I'm talking about other managers that I used to play against or were associated with. Mark Wright, for example, at Dorking Wanderers, had a very good relationship with him. You know, there was Paul Hughes, he was at Hazen Yedin, an ex-Chelsea manager, no Chelsea player. You had Russell and Joe Vines, who was at Cray Wanderers, and Lewis. You know, you're rubbing shoulders with some good managers that were in a higher level than me, in a higher scope. But listen, football takes twists and turns, and you have to ride the storm as well as the waves, you know, and it's topsy-turvy. But like I said, with myself, I just went through a patch where, boom, I just felt like love. I didn't think that would ever happen. And it did, you know. I have some great people and friends around me in football. You know, Sammy Donnelly is one of my biggest mentors in football. He's known me since I was a player. And he's always kept me motivated, you know. And I would have to say a person named, man who got me probably back in was Sammy, but again, a guy called Glenn Stevens. And funny enough, he was one of my first football managers, you know. And stripping all the way back, they were playing step 6 football, and I went back to grassroots football just to find out why did I enjoy football so much, you know. And I just wanted to coach kids again. I didn't want no responsibilities. I just wanted to go there, coach kids, go home, without thinking about the other bits and pieces that you had to do as a current manager. And that season, to be fair, Mark Anthony, was terrific. They brought a smile back to my face. I enjoyed it. I was laughing again. And that's why I was at with Larkfield, because then I got approached by a player, you know, asked me what I was doing, if I want to come back into it. Hence this season being at Larkfield and Hythe, because, you know, I love the football, and being down there, it's been terrific. You know, they've, again, a good set of boys, a club with ambition as well. So at the moment, am I chasing a dream? No, I'm just chasing what's there right now at the moment. And you've got to take one day at a time. You know, if we get promoted, which I believe we will, then that's step 4, you know.
Wonderful, wonderful. Do you know what I love? You know, it's a great reminder, because, and everyone watching, a great reminder, you know, that people all, you know, we talked about when we were younger and how we needed that mentor and that support.
Yeah.
But oftentimes we still need that mentor and support even now.
Of course.
You've mentioned various people that have just been bringing that, infusing you with that belief that you can do it again.
Yeah.
And it's so important. We all have to help each other on that journey. And that's, I mean, we're talking life with Tony Reid and Mark Anthony Abel, and obviously this is a big part and factor of life, of being a success and not being a success. But I want to ask you the last question. It's been a fascinating conversation. Obviously, I'm learning so much, and I hope everyone else here will, as well as just learned about yourself. But there's a big question I want to ask. Based on what you've been through as a footballer and as a manager, would you have your children in football? Because you know it's a rocky road. The chances are, I don't know what the number is, the potential or percentages that actually get to become pro. Would you have your own children in football?
Yes, but, and when I say this very lightly as well, because one thing I didn't do, I don't force my kids to do something they don't want to do. And what you're having to date now as well is a lot of parents forcing their kids into football because they didn't make it themselves. My 2 kids, I've got a boy who's 18, he's at uni currently, left footer. I thought he was going to be up there, ever so talented, and I was taking him to football, and it wasn't for him, Mark Anthony Abel. It wasn't for him. As much as he was a good player, as a centre-half, strong, quick. No, it wasn't. He was like, Dad, I'm not going. So it was a case of me...
How does that make you feel, though? Would you fine with that decision? Or just...
I was fine with that decision because he took up my second sports, which is boxing. I've been boxing for, over 20 years. And I used to have personal training down in Cobham with a guy called Mark. And I took my boy boxing with me. And yeah, he's a Southport. Mark was raving on about him, and he said, get me to a club, get me to a club. And I thought, what do you mean get into a club? So I took him down to a little holdings, small holdings, I think they were called, down in Tooting. And Yeah, he went there since he was about 11 years old, and he became a terrific boxer. Yeah, they want him to go amateur. Unfortunately for, as you know, kids growing up, they sometimes find their own path and everything. But he loves boxing. But at the moment now, he's rapping. He's at uni, which I'm ever so proud of him doing.
So he's got quite a few different strings to his bow.
Yeah,
which is fantastic.
He has, and
the rapping less so. Maybe get a guitar, play a piano or something. Do you know what I mean? You know, whatever. You know, my views on that. Maybe check out Cluster Views, see reason why. Kind of, but it's all tied to gangs and whatever else. But whatever. If you're gonna rap, young Reid, if you're going to rap, make sure that it's the right lyrics, right?
Yeah, listen, I'm there to guide them and support them in whatever they need. But on the other hand, my daughter, oh wow.
Okay.
So she went from a ballet dancer to one day going, Dad, can you get me some football boots? And I actually was scratching my head. I was like, football boots? I was like, nah, this ain't happening. But anyway, I thought it was just a phase. Anyway, we just advanced to date. So she played for a little league team. And I remember going to watch, and it was awful.
Do you want to give the name of the little league team?
I can't remember. I just can't remember the name. I wasn't interested, if I'll be honest with you. And I was just going down there, and I was thinking, oh, this is so bad. But anyway, she went from little league, this little league team, to Sutton United. And she was at Sutton United for 5 years.
Sounds good.
And again, I went to Sutton United, and I was like, this is awful. Call me a chauvinist. I'm not a chauvinist. I have my own agendas with women's football, but hey, it's kind of turned me a little bit. It is enjoyable.
Yeah, I was exactly the same way. I was like, mate, I can't see it. But now I'm like, wow, they're so good.
They are good. And I remember watching her go to Sutton and playing and going from awful. Remember taking her to an old friend of ours, Nigel James, as well.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Brilliant.
Went down there just to enhance her skills and train. And then I probably went back to Sutton United probably about 6 months later, and I was like, wow. Yeah, wow. They went on to do good things. I think she outgrew the team after 5 years, and she was pestering me. She was like, Dad, you know, I want to get into a club. I want to get into a club. And I was being a little bit hard on myself because I didn't want her, because of how I know football, I didn't want her to go to a pro club because I know how it is. It's a revolving door. And the last thing you want is to upset a kid's dream, you know, them going to a club and then
you out,
take you
cheer
in.
Cheer you up and spit you out, mate.
Because, as you know, there's out of 100 kids, only probably 5 will get accepted. Not even that. So I thought, okay, then let's see what she's about. I thought last year, we got some trials. She went down to Most Wanted. Hi Nathan, if you're going to be listening to this, I've got to thank him because...
Hope you do.
Yeah. She went down there and he loved her. And obviously... But I think it was just the distance and inconvenience because his was on a Tuesday and a Thursday, which interfered with my football. And I was like, whoa. So it was a little bit awkward for us both. And then at Larkfield, obviously you didn't see her, a young coach, lady by the name of Sean, you know.
No, I didn't get to.
Yeah, she used to play for Millwall, women's football and everything. Now she's a coach. She's got a nice reputable job now with England, you know.
Wow.
So she's doing absolutely amazing, and I've got a big Sean up because obviously Sean reminds me of my very first coach, Louis, who I hold to my heart, probably one of my best coaches I've ever had. And
big up, Sean.
When I listen to them both, they both have the same energy. They talk the same, they look at football the same. So again, I just asked her for a bit of advice, and she went, listen, I'm going to get you a trial at Millwall. Wow. So she got me a trial at Millwall with my daughter. My daughter was there for 2 weeks, and 2 weeks later, she's been accepted. So she's accepted at Millwall, and she's playing there. So when we're talking about my kids, so going back to my boy, am I gutted that he didn't play football? No, because he's got one of my sports, which is boxing. So I'm happy for him. But my daughter, she surprised me. She's the one who's playing football. And she's a bit like me. If I ever showed you some clips, she's got the same facial expression. She kind of like runs like me as well.
Wow.
She's a bit tenacious, and she's enjoying herself. But I'm probably one of her biggest fans. But one thing I don't do is tell her how she should be doing things. I leave that to the manager, because as a manager myself, I want him to teach her the way he wants her to play. I just probably incorporate little snippets of like a positional sense or what she could have done, you know. And if she asks me for my opinion, I'll give her my opinion, you know. And funny enough, we had a conversation yesterday because I took her to training on the way back, and she goes, she's going to make it. But one thing I do give her, she is very strong-minded and determined to get there. So
You have to have.
listen, I believe she will get there because she has it about her. And I think girls' football has just given me an insight as well to how not so different it is with football, because she was also facing those same problems, i.e. going to a new team, being a bit, you know, oh, am I going to be accepted and everything else. But like I'll tell all players and even my kids, you know, just be yourself. Go there, enjoy yourself, and what will be, will be.
Brilliant.
And she's strived from it. So, yeah, she's enjoying it.
Well, that's a great ending to this interview. Thank you so much, brother. You know, why I'm so happy is because obviously everyone knows, you know what, there is life. You know, no matter what goes on, no matter what struggles, especially in football, there's an opportunity. Well, there's a potential for it. So, my boys out there, you better watch this. Everyone, thank you so much. This is Mark Anthony Abel. Let's Talk Life, Mark Anthony Abel and Tony Reid. Thank you for your time. Absolute
Cheers.
pleasure.
Bye-bye.
On to the next one. And subscribe. Thank you.